constitutes a huge threat to national security. He spoke at the destruction of 3,000 illicit small arms and light weapons recovered by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons at the Nigerian Army Engineering Depot in Kaduna. Represented by the Director Policy and Strategy in the Office of the NSA, Ambassador Aminu Lawal, the NSA said the failure of the global community to control the availability of illicit small arms and light weapons has continued to undermine global peace and significantly hindered development, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. During campaigns, politicians have the habit of inciting violence during the speech, which might cause electoral misconduct. The president of Kano Civil Society Forum, Ibrahim Waya, speaks to Freedom Radio on the issue.
Not attacking personality of any person who is involved in politics. What we really require is for them to drive a peaceful process of conducting their own political campaign activities anywhere they go, and let them also present a valid argument on what they really intend to do, on what they really intend to do when they get a chance or when the people of Kano give them the second chance to continue. But making such kind of statement is really uncalled for. And we feel that at a time when Kano enjoys peace, and Kano is a leading peaceful state, especially among the state of the Northwest, and we're out of
kaji kokan da ake tsaye a kasan nan na sha gaya musu kuma a matakin jiha in an kira mu ko meeting a Abuja na sha gaya musu muddin an samu an yi solving problem na ruwan nan.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. On the sporting arena, before we go to the sports, we have a report on malnutrition. Nigeria is experiencing a double burden of malnutrition where undernutrition, including micronutrient deficiencies, exist alongside overweight, obesity, and diet-related non-communicable disease. Correspondent Bara'atu Idris Garkwa takes a look at the severity of the issue and files in this report.
According to reports, Nigeria has the second highest burden of stunted children in the world, with the national prevalence rate of 32% of children in Nigeria suffering from severe acute malnutrition refers to deficiency or excess in nutrient intake, imbalance of essential nutrients, or inferior nutrient utilization. Malnutrition can result in unplanned weight loss, a lost body mass index, and protein. Mineral efficiencies can weaken and affect our ability to recover from an illness. Freedom Radio speak to a parent who have malnourished children and share her experience.
I have an idea of how I can take care of my baby since from antenatal. I was faithful with my antenatal visit. So there we are giving lectures on how the mother should take care of herself by eating well, by drinking lots of water, and then personal hygiene also matters because the health of the mother is the health of the baby.
Awal Musa, a nutritionist at the Health of Science and Technology School of Hygiene Kano, highlights the importance of food diets.
Giving the maximum cooperation or the maximum concern in that hygienic aspect can render to destroy all the nutritive value, all the nutritive content, all that the benefit of the sort of substances in the food can be detrimented or destroyed by lack of taking care of the hygienic condition. That's why food hygiene in terms of feeding is very essential.
He further highlights the main preventive measures for malnutrition.
The food must be sure the child are taking the 4 or 5 square meal per day. This kind of food, after 6 months, we are introducing known as complementary food. That complementary food is either semi-liquid or liquid, but ensure all the qualitative nutrients that are very key in that food that are feeding with our child.
According to experts, malnutrition caused by extreme hunger remains one of the biggest killers of children around the world.
Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com, or call us through this number, 082 44 4163. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The Department of State Services, DSS, today withdrew a suit filed at a federal high court in Abuja to detain the former terrorist negotiator Chukwumamu for 16 more days after his arrest. DSS counsel A.M. Alami told Justice Nkonye Maha shortly after the matter was called for hearing. Reports say that the suit between the DSS and Erin and Lamy, who sought to withdraw the case, said that the matter has been overtaken by events. Following the application, Justice Maha struck out the suit. The security agency, through its lawyer Ahmed Magaji, had on September 13th moved a motion ex parte which sought an order of the court to detain Mamu for 60 more days in the first instance, pending the conclusion of its investigations. The Emir of Kano Alhaji Amina Ado Barrow has commended the efforts of the Institute of Graphic Communications for empowering youth to enhance computer graphics designers with practical trade skills in the community. The Emir made the commendation while receiving a delegation of the Institute led by Dr. Bala Muhammad and the founder of the Institute, Dr. Ibrahim Garba Njuma, at his palace. Considering the significance of the Institute to the humanitarian services, the Emir assured of his Emirates Council's support on any move that will improve the development of the state, which he described as a welcoming thing. Earlier, the director of the Institute, Dr. Ibrahim, said the Institute was established to complement the government's efforts in assisting the youth in becoming self-reliant and trained in various skills acquisitions in computer graphics. Correspondent Shamsu Da'u Abdullahi reports that the Emir has approved the confirmation of Malam Omar Bashir as Chief Imam of Rangaza Jamaat Mosque, Ngogo local government area. Kano Indigenous Language of Africa Film Market and Festival said filmmakers should get proper education and conduct proper research before starting a film or script writing. The director of film production, Nasir B. Muhammad, of the Kannywood industry, said this during the continuation of the Conference of Integrating Change in Culture and Traditions through African Indigenous Languages Films, which took place today at Digital Bridge Institute. Correspondent Hafsad Abdullahi El-Ladi reports that the event was attended by some of Kannywood's actors and actresses. Yusuf Maitama Sule University Kano is informing all candidates who have chosen the institution as first choice in the 2022 UTME and direct entry application for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board to register online for the screening exercise via the university's website www.yumsuk.edu.ng within the period stated. The university noted that the closing date for registration, which commenced on the 2nd of November 2022, has been extended up to Saturday, 26th, 2022. And on the foreign scene, Anwar Ibrahim has been sworn in as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister, marking an incredible comeback for a man who was first lined up for the job in the boom years of the 1990s before he was suddenly sacked and jailed. The 75-year-old veteran politician took the oath of office in front of King Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmed Shah at the palace in Kuala Lumpur today, hours after he had been named to do the top job by the monarch. King Sultan Abdullah had taken control of the process of forming a new government after Anwar's Pakatan Harapan coalition won the most seats in the weekend's election, but not the 112-seat parliamentary majority necessary to form a government. After a meeting of the royal household today, Anwar was announced as the leader because the king was convinced he had the support of the majority of Malaysia's 222 members of parliament. In a speech, Anwar said he would shoulder the duties entrusted to him with utmost humility. He said in a Twitter post that with his team, he will carry out the heavy responsibility based on the people's aspirations. Anwar Ibrahim started his political career as a student activist, founding the Muslim Youth Movement of Malaysia, known by its Malay acronym ABIM, in 1971, and later leading protests against rural poverty and on other socio-economic causes. And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News, but before we go, highlights of the major stories. The National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongono, said that the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons constitutes a huge threat to national security. The Department of State Services, DSS, today withdrew a suit filed at a federal high court Abuja to detain the former terrorist negotiator Tukur for 60 more days after his arrest.
News.
Another foreign scene, Anwar Ibrahim has been sworn in as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister, marking an incredible comeback for a man who was first lined up for the job in the boom years of the 1990s before he was suddenly sacked and jailed. And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful evening.